Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. And I thought we would have a little talk here about vacuum choices for commercial carpet. I've done a few big condo jobs lately, and I've got more coming up. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the options we have for vacuums for your commercial jobs. And I'll show you. Most guys are quite familiar with this vacuum right here. Protein makes a great vacuum. It's actually really well suited for the low pile carpeting because it has good power. It's about 100 CFM, maybe slightly more. Actually, if you take a look at the front of the vacuum, you'll see something kind of interesting. You see those little slots right there, all the way across? That is on there, those are on there so that as you move the vacuum back and forth on the carpet, on the really low pile carpeting, dust and grit, whatever can get through, and it doesn't actually seal onto the carpet, which actually makes sense when you think about it, because since it's ideally meant for commercial carpeting, and it has no adjustment for the brush roll either, it's just set at one setting. It doesn't really actually seal onto the carpet. So on the really low pile type carpeting, such as what I've got right over here, I don't know if you can see it. Here, I'll show you. There we go. Really thin, the commercial grade, really thin kind of stuff. There's no airflow going through that carpet when you're vacuuming, so the ProForce or the Protein vacuum really works well for that. And that, of course, is it's not a direct air vacuum. It has the vacuum after the bag, so it draws the air and the dirt into a bag, and then through the bag into through the motor out the exhaust. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not being critical of that. Of course, it has the pipe for doing your edges and corners, which is handy. And it's for commercial work. It's a great vacuum, and it's actually got a fairly wide footprint on it. It's probably at least what is it, a 13-inch wide, I think. Oh, how wide is it? Got my tape measure here. Oh, I don't think I do. Anyway, I think it's at least 13 inches. I think it's 13 inches. Anyway, the other vacuum that's quite popular is the Sebo brand. And I picked up one of these because, well, I'd heard so many people talk about how great the Sebo was. And it's a good vacuum. I wouldn't call it a great vacuum. It's, performance-wise, it's actually quite equal to this. It has, again, the that pops out of there for doing edges and corners, etc. This particular one is the one with the automatic height adjustment, and that works fine. I've used it somewhat and decided there's things about it I just didn't really quite like so much. Partly I didn't like the adjustment, the automatic adjustment. I'd rather be able to mechanically adjust and change the setting as I think it needs to be. And that's where the Hoover Hushstone has the advantage, and other advantages as well. Of the three of them right here, these are all sealed vacuum type. The air is drawn into the vacuum and then through a bag, and then through the vacuum motor and out the exhaust. And of the three there, I certainly prefer this one here. I think this is, of the three, the better vacuum for sure. It has two power settings, low and high. And it's just overall the ergonomics, and it has more power too. It definitely has more power. I would say that it has a similar power on the low setting, and then when you turn it to the high power setting, it's quite impressive indeed. And that's my preferred vacuum for everyday use. I actually have the one I'm using now is this one here, which is actually the slightly smaller one. But for commercial, this one is kind of nice because it's a little bit wider. So any of these vacuums work great. But now we're going to go and talk about the direct air vacuums. And of course, most people are quite familiar with the Sanitaire And when I bought this vacuum a few years ago, again, I bought it because I'd heard a lot of people were making comments about how great the vacuum was, and oh, back in the early days of when the OP machines were really getting popular, there was lots of talk about how this was the vacuum to get for your vacuuming and post vacuuming too. And of course it's available in a wider version, and it's not an expensive vacuum. And it actually, when you really take a good look at it, you can see why it's not an expensive vacuum, because there's lots of things about it that are pretty cheaply made. Actually, the way the wheels are attached, the way the bag attaches on the back, it just screws into the plastic. There's lots of things about it that tell you that it's not a real high-end vacuum. And apparently, I think that the older ones were built better, but these newer ones apparently aren't as well made. I've got very few hours on this thing. I used it for a bit and I thought, no, this isn't right for me. Although for commercial it would be fine, but for that you'd want to probably get the one with the has like must be at least 3 inches or 4 inches wider, because it has kind of a hammerhead look to it. And you can find them, they're available. Just go online, you can look up the Sanitaire commercial vacuum, and it's a direct air. So, and this particular version of it has the dirt cup bag. There's another version which has a normal bag which would attach on the back, and then you actually put a paper bag in it. This type of vacuum, I mean, it's not that they're bad, but they do not filter the air like these vacuums do. These are all HEPA vacuums, and those, or these two anyway, are not. But for commercial work, that's a great vacuum for that application. They do pick up well. They have, and where the advantage of the direct air vacuums is they almost always will have more airflow than these type of vacuums. It's just the way that they're made, the way that the air goes into the. I'll show you that in a sec. I got another one over here when I show you. But the way that it works, they just move much more air. And I've done a couple of videos recently where I used this one and the bigger version over there, which we'll show you in a sec. And it's very impressive with how easily, quickly, efficiently it draws the crap into the vacuum. It really works well on the low pile carpeting. I would not recommend it for residential. Well, partly because it is a dust blower. It has adequate filtration on the bag. Now the Kirby is actually about the same size and it has great power. It's power driven, so it's about the same width as these three here. But it does have a paper bag that goes inside of here, which you change out. And so it's not a dust blower. It actually has a micron filtration on the bags. I think I got one sitting up here. Do I or do I not? I think I do, yeah. I don't know if it says on there. No. But especially the newer one, I think, with the the Centria, which I also have actually, has it's almost like a cloth material, and they have micron filtration, so they filter very, very well now. Not like these. This is really old school. But let's go over here and we'll talk about this. Is this one I picked up a month or two ago, and I actually just replaced the bag and the brush roll. I used it the other day and it was working fantastic at pulling crap out of the vacuum or out of the carpet. But I want to show you what's inside here. The way these things are built. Now these are old vacuums, and they're just built. They really are. I mean, one of the things that's really impressive is the mechanism for raising and lowering, which is the release here. This is all metal stuff in here, and a lot of these newer vacuums, a lot of the stuff is a plastic. I mean, maybe it's quality plastic, I don't know, but nothing like the old school. This one here is incredible. It's built like a tank. I'll show you that one in a sec. But okay, the direct air vacuum, the way it works is the actual impeller, the fan, is right in here, and it draws the air from up here. Underneath here's where the brush roll goes. It draws it in here, and it has an interesting little door you open up, and any heavy, little coins or big rocks or whatever it might pick up, it will stop right there. it won't get drawn directly into the fan, which is bad. No, I'll fix that after. But interesting. So now for one, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got motor mounts. Those are rubber, and the whole thing will actually, it just flexes it a little bit. And if you're looking at this, you're thinking, what are you looking at? And look at this. It has a dual belt system. So it has a belt that from the motor, it goes around this pulley, and then it I guess it's multiplying the speed, isn't it? That's what it looks like. I guess. Not sure how that would work, but anyway, it's got a V belt here. So it has a belt here that turns this pulley, and a V belt that goes forward and turns the brush roll. Very impressive. Very impressive indeed. So anyway, the cover goes back on here. And just the way it's made, just everything about it is just overbuilt. I'm not sure if they still make these things anymore, but if you have a chance to buy, if you just look on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, which I do actually every day, looking for things, you'll find really good deals on equipment that people are getting rid of for cheap. All kinds of stuff comes up all the time. And so I think I paid $100 for this, I think. And I paid $5 for that one over there. But I had to replace the brush roll on that one. And I just replaced the brush roll on this one. It wasn't totally worn out, but it was worn enough. I thought, okay, I want a brand new brush roll because I expect to use it a lot more. But wow, I did a job the other day, and the carpet didn't really look like it needed to be vacuumed in the hallways, and it was filled up halfway, and it was just a lot of crap, a lot of little, it looked like fur I was picking up. It's just amazing, which it probably was because there's pets running up and down the hallway, I guess, of the condo building. And then this vacuum here, of course, if you find one of these, you've hit pay dirt, as long as it's in good shape. But of course, again, this is a very old vacuum. At least, oh man, this has got to be at least 30 or 40 years old. Built like an absolute tank. It has a, there's the vacuum motor right there, which I actually replaced and upgraded it. So I think it's around 110 CFM. And I'm actually running with Kirby bags in here. And so it does work well, but being as wide as it is, if this has 110 CFM and this is 110 CFM, that would actually be more effective at removing junk out of the carpet than this would be, because there's less width, less of an aperture. So the air moving through the smaller aperture on the bottom of the vacuum would be drawing the air faster than the air in the larger aperture. It's not that it wouldn't pick up, it's just that this would actually be more efficient at picking up. But nevertheless, for commercial jobs, for picking up, off the surface of the carpet, I've used this quite a lot, and it works well. But my better choice, in most cases, I'll probably end up using this one because I know it has even more airflow, probably at least 130 CFM, I'm guessing, and it's almost as wide as this. This one is, well, I guess they call it a 20 because it's 20 inches wide, and this is I believe it's 18 inches wide. So it's just slightly more narrow, but has more airflow. So this is going to be probably my primary choice for commercial carpeting when I do it down the road. I got a few more buildings already in the future right now. And just as a side note, I wanted to let you guys know, the other day I actually went out to buy another vacuum that came up for sale, and I'd thought, for a long time, if one of these comes up, I want to buy it. And it came up, and that's the Windsor Wave. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. There's a Windsor Wave for sale. They were asking $7. I offered them $5. They said they'd take $5, so I went out there to take a look at it. It was actually at the local university, and they had 3 of them. And I was looking at it, and I realized I got a problem. You don't realize how big they're until you actually see them. We're talking 30 inches wide, 36 inches long, I think. Was it 30 inches high? 42 inches long and 36 inches wide? Because it actually barely fit through a doorway. and I realized I got a problem, because when I go to do a commercial job, I usually put, I put a few jugs of solution in the back of my van, usually at least 8 or 9, or sometimes more, depending on what I'm doing. And I put my tray for carrying the stuff, which actually goes on its edge. And then I've got a few other things. I've got my either my Vibe or whatever else I might be choosing to use in the side door, and my rotary. I always carry my rotary with me, because I've learned that if you get to the job and discover that one machine isn't working, and that's happened, well, I can just go grab my other machine and use it. I never go to a job without my backup. Anyway, and it was 95 pounds, and I realized that, you know, the idea of the vacuum, I really liked it, but the application and the actual physicality of using it, it just wasn't going to be practical. Whereas I think that for what I do, this is a great option, still available. I don't know if they're still available, but parts are still available. And there are other wide area vacuums available too. So if you're looking for something like that, a Kirby's not a bad choice, actually, because you can buy them so cheap used, and they do work really well. Again, the Hoover Hushstone, it's pretty wide too, so you can move pretty quick. Anyway, there are options out there, and I thought you might be interested to see these, and maybe give you some food for thought. Anyway, I can't think of anything else intelligent to say today, so I'll let you go. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to the next time I get to use this, and we'll be able to see just how well it works. Brand new brush roll, brand new bag. I replaced the belt as well. The stretchy belt, that is, because the V belt doesn't stretch. But anyway, looking forward to showing you the next time I use this. So hopefully that'll come up within the next week or two. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good day.